Hello everyone, welcome. Today I have the two most beautiful faces of our Amazon community, Margaret and Meghla here. Hello guys, how are you doing? So
Hi,
we will
Sammy.
start with Margaret on that. Okay, Margaret, how are you and where are you right now?
I'm very well, and I'm a bit cold, and I'm in Melbourne, Australia.
Okay, and Meghla, I think you are in Delhi right now, right? How is the weather in Delhi? How are you?
Yes, I'm great, Sammy. So thankful to be here and thanks a lot for inviting us for this webinar. Yes, I'm in Delhi, in fact, in Noida, right
Okay.
outside of Delhi. And the weather is not bad, actually. It's not too hot. It's been raining a bit, so it's quite pleasant. Yeah, I
Mhm.
like this kind of weather.
Okay, so I guess nothing is flooded over there, right?
No,
Due to the
not
rain.
as of now. Yeah, things are okay.
Okay. Okay. So I think all of the audience are eager to listen and learn more about how we can scale globally to Amazon.com and other marketplaces. So I have also have few questions because you two are the most famous name when it comes to scaling globally, sourcing from India, all those kinds of stuff. So first, I have a question that I think will be more towards Amazon sellers. So I think Mark will be better explaining this. So
Okay.
Mark, what is your experience on sourcing from India and selling in Amazon.com?
Well, I've actually been sourcing from India for nearly 6 years now, and love it and I find it a lot better sourcing from India because you don't get a copycat type situation. Like, I don't have people who have gone and produced my products 10 times over and all the different factories are making it. It's
Hmm.
still, most of my products are unique. I think I might have one similar product in my whole brand. So I find
Okay.
that to keep the uniqueness is great, because it's all handcrafted, so it's a lot harder to actually be copied. So I think that that's probably one of the biggest benefits, is having, and it's your brand story. Then you can tell a story about how it is handcrafted, and all those sorts of stories, which you can't if it's all machine manufactured and just that type of thing.
Yeah. I think when it comes to handcrafted, it adds up a separate brand story. What do you think, Bingla, on that?
Yeah, definitely. You can add a brand story, and it's in India there's so many opportunities to do that. Like you can really talk about the artisans that have made the product. You can talk about the history of the production hub where these products have been manufactured. For example, Moradabad is it's like such a famous production hub for metal and wooden products, and those types of products are really popular in the US, especially selling on Amazon. In fact, most of the Amazon sellers that we help, they source these kinds of home products and gift products to sell on Amazon. And then the other thing that you can do is, you can maybe contribute to society. So, for example, a lot of people, what they do is they say, okay, if we sell so many products, then we will maybe plant a tree, or maybe we will,
Mhm.
donate something to a school in India. For example, we organize a trip, a sourcing trip for overseas Amazon sellers, and then for each attendee on the trip, we sponsor the education of a child for 1 year in an underprivileged
Wow.
kind of society. So that is something giving, that you're giving back. And consumers in the US really like that. They like that feeling that they are really contributing and helping people,
Mhm.
while they are shopping. There's actually this very famous footwear brand called what's the name, Margaret? It's just
Tommy's shoes.
slipping.
Tommy's shoes.
Tom's
Tom's
shoes,
shoes.
yeah. Tom's shoes. And they actually are a very big brand in the US. And what they do is, for every slipper that they sell, they're basically slippers. They actually donate a pair of slippers in some small village in South America. So, they're kind of creating a story behind their brand. It's not just selling products. So that is something that can be really done in India. And that is one way to differentiate products that are coming from China, versus products from India.
Okay, yeah, I can totally get that, and it is very necessary, and especially if I have to go more deep into this, and I think many sellers would be eager to know this as well. So, when it comes to sourcing from India and selling in USA or other marketplace, is there any specific niche or category of products that you have seen have more demand towards?
Yes, definitely. So, Mark, do you want to first talk about your category?
Yeah, well,
Just
I
generally.
suppose, yeah, a home decor is very, very sort of popular, I think, especially in America. And I'm hooked on all the home shows. So I'm a person who spends half my night watching all the home shows on the UST, you know, that come out of the US with
Yeah.
what's in their decor, in their homes. And I look at it now and I go, oh, that's from India, that's from India. It's become quite popular, the styles that India make. And like, I think a lot of people, when they think of India, they imagine just the real Indian type products that you would see in an Indian bazaar here in our country, but it's not. There, a lot of them are just absolutely beautiful. Well, you know, wooden, metal, and all types. A lot of mixed products, like you might get wood and marble, or wood, marble, and metal, or resin and wood and metal. So they have a lot of different techniques that they put into one product. And like, I mean, that is not really possible when it's all machine made. Whereas when it's handmade, all these extra things or carvings on a lot of the products, there's a lot of carvings, you know, into either beaten into the metal or into the wood, things like that make the products, I think, stand out and are like, people want something that's a little bit different, not just a plain wooden chopping board or something like that. People are looking for that differentiation. And I think that is probably one of the biggest standouts of all the products that, you know, I see. And I mean, I could just open up a store in America with all the beautiful products we see every day. I mean, it'd just be overflowing with gorgeous products, because you just kept thinking that would be great in a shop. If I had a gift shop, I would have all these products in my gift store. So yeah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So metal and wood, those are the two big categories that we are seeing really success with, and especially home products, gift products, like Mark said, a lot of kitchenware items as well. In terms of wood, the most popular kind of wood for exports from India is mango wood, and that is also a differentiator that not many people know about. In fact, China does mostly bamboo wood and acacia wood. Bamboo wood is a kind of engineered wood. It's not like the bamboo sticks or the stems of a bamboo
Okay.
plant. Bamboo wood is actually engineered, and they make different types of things. So that kind of wood is pretty cheap from China, but the wood that's available in India is mango wood. That's higher quality. It's natural wood. It has a very beautiful grain to it, and so that's something that American consumers really appreciate. They appreciate the natural beauty of these kinds of natural woods like mango. So that is something else that we should consider. If, for example, there's a product that is selling very popularly and it's made in China, maybe you can launch another version of it in mango wood, and that becomes sort of a more premium product, and that can be one of the differentiators. So that's one category: metal and wood. Then
Can I
the
just
other
interrupt
categories
you, Meghla,
are,
too, and
yeah,
just say
yeah,
that
sorry, go
mango
ahead.
wood is actually eco-friendly, because mango wood comes from the mango tree. So about every 15 years, those trees finish their growing cycle, and the trees would be chopped down. So they're actually then made into, furnishings and home decor products.
Okay.
Whereas if it's another wood, it might take 100 years to produce that tree for the wood. So it's a very eco-friendly product as well. So it's another brand story that you can say that it is, give the life story of mango wood as well. Sorry, go on, Meghla.
Yeah. And eco-friendly, that is another differentiator that we have in India, because there's huge demand for eco-friendly products globally. And a lot of the products in India are eco-friendly, made from natural materials, and the packaging is eco-friendly as well. So, but that's a separate discussion. So let's also talk about other categories apart from metal and wood. Then there's textile-based products. As you know, India is the largest producer of cotton in the world. And so if you're looking for, anything that's made out of cotton, like apparel, home furnishings, any other textile, kitchen furnishing, kitchen textile items like aprons, oven mitts, those kinds of products are quite popular. Towels, beach towels, any kind of textile and fabric based product is really good from India. Yeah, bedding,
So
exactly, like bed sheets, bed covers. Yeah,
okay.
that's another category. Then we also
Okay.
have
So
things like leather, ceramic, glass,
yeah.
We
a
could
lot
go
of
on all
different
night.
items. Yeah.
Yeah, we will come up on the glass part and the returns and those shipping parts, I think, because a lot of People will be interested to know about how to ship. We will come to that later on. But since you have talked about metal and wood so much, so what is the source, like which state or which city you source the products? Like let's assume metal, which is the best city or place to source metal products?
Yeah, so the best place to source metal products for exports is the city of Moradabad. And this has a very long history of manufacturing
Mhm.
brass products. Like it is known as the metal city, or, in Hindi we say Pital Nagri, which is brass city,
Yeah.
if you translate it literally. So Moradabad is the main center for exports. There are thousands of factories there that are very familiar with the export market. Now, when you're exporting anything, it's very important to work with a supplier that has all the licenses, that has an
Mhm.
export license, that understands the US market or whichever market you're exporting to, because the design differences are a lot, right? The types of products that we use in India will not be popular in the US, for example. So all these exporters in Moradabad, they are very familiar with the design requirements, the colors, the shapes, the types of products that are popular in the US markets. So those kinds of products at those exporters, you will not generally find in the domestic market. They're mostly for exports. But that is the main city for metal, and they also do a lot of wooden products. And then there's also the city of Saharanpur that does wooden products. It's really well known for wood. But we find that sometimes in Saharanpur, the factories are a bit unorganized. So the quality can be an issue. And of course, when selling on Amazon, quality has to be your number one priority, because once you start getting returns, then your sales will totally tank, right? So quality is really, really important when exporting.
Okay, so we'll proceed further. But before that, Meghla and Marg are giving away 3 tickets for Ecom India Summit that is going to happen from 10th and 11th in Delhi. So make sure you pay attention to whatever we are discussing, because we are going to ask 3 questions and giving away 3 tickets for that. We are going to ask those 3 questions after all the questions are finished. So make sure you pay attention and stay till the end. So now, Meghla, since we have discussed about the products, where we can get it, but there has to be the demand. Like, how do you decide on which product to select? Like, is there a specific your process, products versus keywords, how it is?
Mark, do you want to take this?
Yeah, well, look, I suppose when you're looking for products, as Tim Jordan would say, and he'll probably say it at the Ecom Summit, that you're not looking for actual products, you're looking for keywords, because Amazon is a search engine that people put in keywords of what they're looking for. So it's really, you've got to sort of think, if say you wanted to sell a wooden salad bowl, you think of all the key phrases that people might say for that. It might not just be salad bowl. There are probably 1,000 other words that people would put into the phrase bar that would bring up a salad bowl. So because you could use it as a fruit bowl, you could use it as all sorts of serving different foods in it. You could then have, it doesn't have to be, it could be a bowl for parties. There's lots of phrases that would relate back that you would sell that wooden bowl on. So I think the secret to it is, obviously you need to go and check all the phrases you're looking at in a tool. There's lots of different tools out there that actually help you with how many sales there are and how many people are actually selling on that keyword, not that product, because every keyword you look up will have a different amount of sellers and a different volume of actual sales. So you've got to basically research all the or most of the keywords that you come up with, and then you'll find more as you're researching, and that would be how you decide. Obviously but obviously once again, can you meet the profit margin criteria? I mean, you've got to look at what that type of product is selling for in the particular market, and then decide with all your costs, is there enough margin left for you to make some money, because you don't want to be doing it without making yourself a reasonable margin. So that would be the main thing, I think.
So keywords are more important than products. You're selling keywords on Amazon. You're not selling products. That is something that people should keep in mind. And Sammy, you of course know this really well, because you're you're like doing research into keywords, and you're the PPC expert. So
Yeah.
you know keywords better than anybody else.
Yeah, I probably say it like this: keywords are the roots of the tree, and the tree is the product that appears in Amazon listing.
That's
So we
very
can't
good.
see there are so
Yeah,
many roots inside that is holding the product together.
yeah,
So that is what it is. And maximum
exactly.
sellers, when they're coming into, they probably feels or they think that there will be only 4 to 5 keywords that are responsible for bringing the sale, whereas there will be 200 to 2000 keywords that are responsible for bringing the sales. So that is what it is. I think Tim will be describing more in the Ecom Summit as well in this. So uh, on that, another thing, when we see about global selling on from India to .com or Canada or any other marketplaces, maximum what we have seen is a lot of manufacturers who are currently manufacturing in India wants to scale globally. They want to sell, but they don't have that much knowledge about brand building. What are the advantages of brand? Because they are most into making products, making the products beautiful, better, but not into brand building side. So what would be the advantage of brand building that you want to tell to the manufacturers? Anyone of you can take this.
Yeah, definitely. I'll add a bit, and then Mark, I'm sure, will also add something. So, first of all, there are advantages that you get on Amazon, itself. So, if you're brand registered on Amazon, you can get access to A+ content and so much more analytics and data, and you have, a lot that you can do on Amazon with brand registry. And you need to have your own brand trademarked in the US in order to get brand registry. So that's one advantage. All of the Amazon features, advanced features that you can get access to. Also, when you are building a brand, then people trust you more. They tend to trust you more. Like, I mean, just imagine if you're going to an online store and you just find like a mishmash of various types of products, maybe one ring light, one water bottle, one mouse, one watch, like all of these random products selling on a website, versus you go to another website that maybe specializes in one category. Like, let's say they specialize in sports products. Let's say cricket. Let's say they specialize only in cricket products, and they have cricket bats, balls, and all types of cricket products, and they really provide a lot of good information related to cricket and good products, high quality products, and they can, they're like the cricket experts. So who would you trust more? You would tend to trust the company that really specializes in something
Yeah.
more, versus another website that is just randomly selling 10 different things.
Totally.
So it generates more trust. And Amazon is the same. So you have your own storefront there. You can showcase all the different products that you have within that brand, within a niche, and that positions you as an expert and just builds more trust. That's another advantage. Mark, what else?
Yeah, no, and I think too, when you're building your brand, you want to sort of make it like a cohesive thing, so it's really recognizable. So if you've got 20 or 30 different products, that as people click into them, if they might all be in a similar niche, but if it's all done in, say, green, and the font's all the same, and the layout is the same, that people go, oh, I've seen that before, and it becomes recognizable, and you become very credible quite quickly by just having that cohesive look. And I mean, if your storefront all looks the same with all the same font and all the same headings and all the same color, you look like you're a really big business. And I mean, and a tip that I say is, even if you haven't got that many products, you can put a few coming soon in there. I mean, don't fill it up with coming soon, but you can put new products coming, and you can develop that. It looks like you're expanding and you're growing, and people will follow you and watch you for those new products. So I think building a brand is really, really important. Well, to succeed on Amazon now, I think if you don't have a brand, you're going to struggle, because there's just all the tools they're giving you promotions, discounts, everything. And it's really for everything you do, you need to be brand registered.
Yeah.
I think
With
another
Amazon, I
advantage
think.
is that nowadays, sorry. So
Yeah, Meghla.
nowadays you need to drive a lot of external traffic to Amazon as well. So whether it's from Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, and having a brand helps with that as well. So you can build your maybe Instagram following around your brand, and you can provide a lot of content. So if you do have a brand, then that allows you to do that, to build a community, and then be able to drive traffic to Amazon or your own website as well.
Yeah, totally agree on that. Even all the features that Amazon brings, it first goes to the brand registered sellers. And again, you get options like
Yeah.
so many options from brand ads, videos, display ads, all those retargeting features, stores. So all those features are available to brand registered sellers. So I think brand building should be a must if you're planning to go global or go big. So that is what I also wanted to add. And let's move on to the next question. So there is very much confusion, and I think a lot of sellers have this doubt since they are in India right now. How do you ship? How to manage those returns? How those delivery options are there? What are those returns? So how do you go through all this?
Okay, well, I suppose
Marketing.
the first thing is you have two options. When you're selling on Amazon, you can do FBA or FBM. So FBM is for full by merchant, which means you fulfill that yourself. So to do that, you would need to have a warehouse in the USA or someone managing, like a 3PL managing all your products and sending them in per order. Or you can do FBA, which I would suggest is the best when you're not around, which is fulfilled by Amazon. And it also, I think you get a much better chance of getting success on Amazon because they like you using FBA over FBM because, you know, you're working with them and they're obviously making money out of you as well. So I think if you do FBA, so that means then what you would do is you would ship the goods from India over to either depending, it's a little bit complicated to go into here, but you can go straight into Amazon depending on the size of your shipment. So your goods would go straight into an Amazon warehouse, and then Amazon would distribute those all around the US to where they feel those products would be needed, and then they actually handle all of the customer inquiry. So the order would come in, Amazon would ship it out to the customer. If the customer's not happy or wants a return, they would handle that for you. They take all the money and then they just pay you after their fees the remaining money. So I think that way, you don't have to worry too much. There's still a lot of work. I'm not saying you can just send it to them and forget about it. You still have to check every day what's happening because there'll be inquiries from people. You have to make sure there's enough stock. You have to monitor a lot of things. But that way then you can do it remotely without having to be there on site. And returns, what happens, the same thing. A customer would ring up and say they want to return the product. So Amazon would say, yep, and they'll give them the refund. And then you can choose whether you actually get that product returned to a warehouse in the US. You can't get it returned back to you in India or wherever you're sort of shipping from. It has to go back into somewhere in the actual state where the products are being sold. So if it was in the UK, they would go back to a UK warehouse, or in US, it would go back to US warehouse. And then you can have somebody check them and you can decide whether they're still sellable, put them back in, or you dispose of them. Or if you don't want to do that, if it's a cheaper item, because there are some fees involved in removing, you might just want to write that off as a loss and call it like shoplifting or a loss of your business. So that'll become part of a write-off. But, it depends. If you've got quite an expensive product, you wouldn't want to do that. You probably want to go and check them. You might have something that's got a few pieces in it. You could use them as spare parts and things like that. But, I think it's amazing to think that I'm in Australia and I don't actually touch my products. They just get shipped from India into the US, and I put them into a warehouse and then I ship the balance into Amazon because depending how many products you have and how much stock, Amazon have limits. So I store most of my products off Amazon in a third-party warehouse, and I call it drip feed. So as my stock gets down to maybe I've only got 20 days stock left, I'll put in enough stock for another 20 days. And Amazon actually help you, and they'll say to you, you need to put in this many, and they will guide you as to what they feel on your previous sales data, how much you need to put in. So it's, so there is a bit of manual work for you still to do it, but not as much as if you were doing it FBM, where every day you're dealing with returns and customer complaints and, shipping out the products and lost mail and all that sort of thing. So I think it's a lot for the fees you pay. It's quite, and Amazon's mailing or shipping costs are a lot cheaper than if you're doing it yourself, because obviously they ship so much around, the US that they get their price very cheap compared to if, you're trying to do it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and shipping from India to USA, which method do you prefer, air or sea?
Look, it depends on the size of your product. Once again, air, it has to be small and light to use air. Air is about roughly $10 a kilo. So like if you've got, a product that weighs a kilo, you don't want to be paying $10 per product. So that would all go as a sea shipment. Most of my products, I don't actually air ship at all. I sea ship everything. And so, but if you're doing like, I don't know, earphones for a mobile phone or something, you would not sea ship them. You would air ship them because they're so small and light. And it obviously air shipping is quicker. So if you are running short of stock, you can maybe send in a small batch. Because it takes about a week, whereas if you're doing sea shipping, by the time it clears customs at both ends and gets there, it's about probably 5 weeks, whereas air shipping is usually within about 7 to 10 days. It's actually into Amazon, but it's a cost factor.
So how many shipping providers are there that does this air shipping from India to USA warehouse directly?
Oh, look, I don't know how many different ones there are. There are lots of freight forwarders.
Which one you have used?
We have one. Yeah, we use Sea Air Global, and they do all, like shipping from just about everyone in our group, because, and one of the reasons I will say this is that they have a actual customs agency in the US, because when your goods get to the US, it's great to have somebody on the ground there who knows the process, and because things change all the time, codes change and things like that, and the port can be congested or not, and they will know what's going on at the time. So they're sort of our recommended sea shipper. But look, there are lots and lots of obviously shipping lines and companies that do across, but not like China. Like, I suppose if you've been sourcing from China, there's a port virtually at every city, in every hub, whereas out of India, 90% of the sea shipments would go from Mumbai or Nhava Sheva. So and they tend to go like Mondays, usually every week. Most of the ships leave on a Monday, so it's not as frequent as if you were shipping from China, because that's more of a daily thing from different ports.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's better to ship from Mumbai to the east coast of the US, because it's more cost effective. It takes a shorter time as compared to the west coast. So don't ship to, say, California. That's where most of the shipments from China will go to. Or from India, typically the shipments go from Mumbai and they pass through the Suez Canal, and then they go to the east coast of the US, which is mostly New York or other ports there. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Yeah. Another thing for freight forwarders, make sure they understand how to ship to FBA, because not all freight forwarders know that. That's one thing. Secondly, make sure that they are also able to be the consignee for you, because you're not in the US, right? You're outside of the US. So you need an address of a company or a person in the US when you are shipping your product. So make sure that the freight forwarder can do that as well. And like, we really highly recommend Sea Air, because they have been doing all of our shipments, and they understand the FBA requirements really well.
Okay. Yeah, we have a couple of clients who are selling globally, and they tell that the sea shipping takes like 2.5 to 3 months. So I think with your tips today, they are going to save some time in shipping. Okay.
Yeah, and look, I think too, sorry, can I just add to that? Because if you're going into the West Coast, and it's particularly, at Christmas time, with everyone who's sourcing from China, and there is, so much product going in. And last year there was such a backlog that, there were ships sitting out in the, bay for, 2 months with stock on, and people didn't get it in. Whereas we don't have that congestion with going to New York, because it's really only India and the smaller cities that are actually sending to the East Coast. It's not as popular, so you don't get the congestion. So it doesn't usually happen that you'll get stuck in some great big queue of boats, which is great.
Yeah. So I'm moreover that I'm really excited to see you both in the Ecom India Summit. So, Meghla, do you want to elaborate on the Ecom India Summit? Who is it for? Who are going to come there, and when it is?
Absolutely, Sammy. We are so excited about this conference. So this is the first time ever that there's going to be a conference in India that is entirely focused on helping manufacturers, exporters, all types of people export via e-commerce specifically. So the summit is going to be held in Delhi at Eros Hotel, Nehru Place, from October 10th to 11th. So it's a 2-day summit, 10 and 11. It's just 2 weeks away, actually. So
it'll be one day down in 2 weeks.
yeah, exactly. So who is this summit for? The summit is for anybody who's looking to export their products globally via e-commerce. If they want to, sell on Amazon.com, for example, or eBay.com, or via Shopify, if they want to sell their own products globally via Shopify as well, it's relevant for them too. So these could be manufacturers that have their own factories that are currently doing B2B and maybe now they want to do B2C. These could be exporters who are maybe trading companies and they are just sourcing products from different manufacturers. These could be individuals, like, individual entrepreneurs. I'm sure a lot of the people on your YouTube channel are also like, individuals and entrepreneurs who are trying to build a brand selling via e-commerce. So it could be those types of individuals and e-commerce entrepreneurs as well. It could also be, maybe like moms and pops who are stay-at-home moms and pops, and they're just, taking care of their kids at home, or they are, there are a lot of people overseas who are doing this nowadays. They have their full-time job, or maybe they're stay-at-home parents, and they start this as a side hustle, and they gradually grow this business, and it becomes really huge. So if you're an individual, if you're a stay-at-home mom or dad, for example, this summit will be relevant for you as well. Because I feel that first of all, e-commerce, and especially Amazon, has made it so easy for anybody from anywhere to sell to any other country, right? I mean, especially the US, it's so easy for anybody from anywhere in the world to sell on Amazon US. And Amazon US is basically the biggest e-commerce marketplace that is out there. So I mean, that's who the conference is for. And another USP of the conference, another benefit of attending the conference, is that there are going to be a lot of top speakers at the conference who will be presenting the latest, strategies that are working in e-commerce and selling on Amazon. And we have got a lot of overseas speakers who are coming to speak at the conference as well. So there are speakers from the US, from the UK, Australia, and of course, top speakers from India as well, such as Sammy. Sammy is also going to be doing a presentation at the conference. And, you can check out the link. It's ecomindiasummit.com. And I'm sure Sammy would post the link as well later on. But in terms of the agenda, it's really important to for people to understand what kind of topics they will learn about. And first of all, this is totally educational and informational. So all of the presentations are going to be purely informational. There's not going to be any like marketing kind of fluff. It's very educational. You'll be like taking notes over there, and whatever you learn, you'll be able to implement in your business, and that will really have an impact on your kind of business growth. So we're really trying to bring that high quality of content to sellers in India. So in terms of the content, we're covering a wide range of topics, and we also have Amazon Global Selling and Shopify and eBay, and also Federation of Indian Exporters Organization, FIO. They're going to be presenting, and they have a booth as well over there. So in terms of topics, we are covering how, first of all, you can sell via Amazon Global Selling, how you can differentiate your product on Amazon, because it's really important to have unique products when you're selling on Amazon. So how you can do that, what kind of data you need to focus on when you're growing your Amazon business, how you can plan for Q4. We're also going to be doing advanced strategies for keyword research, because as Marg mentioned, keywords are so important when you're selling on Amazon. Then Sammy, you're going to be talking about Amazon PPC strategies that will help people reduce their ACOS and get more sales. Do you want to quickly maybe talk about your session, Sammy, and and what does ACOS mean actually?
So what I'm going to talk about is basically how to analyze data, what data to look for in order to boost your sales through Amazon.com or any other marketplace. What data to look for in order to boost your profitability in ads, and what you have asked for ACOS. So ACOS basically stands for advertising cost of sales. How to use all those metrics and what are the main metrics that you can look for that is responsible for scaling your advertising. So that is a basically summary of what I'm going to say. I am not telling all those right now. Let's keep it for the summit. So
Yes.
the website I have displayed on the screen, I will also attach in the video description. So anything you want to add
Yeah.
more,
And
Meghla
I'll
or
just,
Mark?
yeah, I just want to add a couple of more topics. So we're also going to be talking about how to protect your brand on Amazon, and like brand registry and trademarks and the entire process. We're going to be talking about that. And then we have a representative from FIO who is going to talk about how the government is, enhancing and providing more support for e-commerce exports as well. Then we've got a session from Shopify. We're also going to be talking about payments. We're going to be talking about ranking, how to rank and understand the Amazon algorithm a bit better. We'll also talk about advanced external traffic, and then 3PLs, multi-channel fulfillment, returns. In fact, we have a specialist who is coming from the US, especially for this topic, to talk about 3PLs and return, especially because he does a lot of multi-channel fulfillment for Amazon sellers, and they deal with a lot of returns, and so they can give us ideas on how to manage returns so that you can recover as much of your cost as possible. Also, we're going to have a panel discussion with a few top successful sellers from India, and Tim Jordan is going to be at the conference as well. So he is, in fact, we are doing this conference in partnership with Tim Jordan. And Sami, you know Tim quite well. You've
Yeah.
been, connected with him for quite some time as well. So yeah, he's going to be there. He's going to be sharing a lot of information. So apart from these topics, then we also have, apart from the conference, we also have an expo area. So there are about 18, 20 exhibitors there, and you'll be able to talk to these companies and get information about their services. And we also have networking opportunities. So throughout the day, there'll be networking breaks where you can interact with each other, interact with the speakers, and interact with the service providers. And then on the end of day one, we have a 2-hour networking session where we'll provide networking high tea, and you can again interact with the speakers and engage with sellers and service providers. Also, I want to add that lunch is included as well for all of the delegates. So yeah, you'll be well taken care of.
Yeah. So since we are coming towards the end, so I have 3 questions for the audience. We will ask one by one, and whoever answers the first or comments for the answer first, we will be giving you one ticket for the Ecom India Summit. So Meghla, do
Yeah,
you want to
Sami.
start, or Mark, you want to start, or do you
Yeah,
have to post the
yeah,
question?
and I'll just also add that the price of the summit is 3,500 rupees. We should add that. So for the
Yeah.
full 2 days, it's 3,500 rupees. And you'll also get recordings of all of the sessions. So if you want to go back and review them again, you can do that. Yeah. So yeah, Sami, go
Okay.
ahead and display the questions.
Okay. I'll pose the first question then.
So the first person to get the answer correctly is going to be the winner. So you have to be quick.
So the first question is, which is the main production hub for metal products? Now, whoever answers first, we'll take your email, or we'll just share our email. You can just email us. We'll provide you all the details. Okay, we got one answer, Muradabad from
Yay.
Spiky Kids Fashion. Wow, this is a cool name. I think you're displaying your brand name here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, a lot
Okay,
of
I'm
people
just
have given the
displaying.
correct answer.
Yeah, so I'm just displaying my email, or I'll just post my email later on after we finish all the questions. Then we can connect with you guys. Now, make sure while you're emailing, make sure you put your name Okay, so that we can verify who you were. So let me pose the second question. The second question comes from my side. So it is about advertising. What does ACOS stands for? What does ACOS stands for? Anyone gives the answer first will be considered.
This is a long answer, so they have to like type it.
I think they're okay. Vineet
They'll Google
Narwal.
it.
No, I think Mr. Vineet was quick, so he didn't got the time to Google it, I guess. So Mr. Vineet,
Yeah.
uh, okay, so we are just noting your names down, and we will check your names when you send us the email. I'll provide you the email address where you need to send the emails to. Okay, the last question from Mark's side. This is an interesting and the most toughest question, what I think. What are the dates for Ecom India Summit?
See who was really listening now.
Yeah.
What are the dates for Ecom India Summit?
Oh, here we go. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Oh,
So here's first.
they were listening.
Mr. Nizam. Yeah, there's so many chats and comments on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we got our three winners. I will quickly
Yeah,
display my
congratulations,
email
winners.
as well. I'll just repeat the names. Mr. Nizam, then we have Spiky Kids, and then we have Mr. Vineet. Okay, I'm just displaying my email. You can reach out to this email address. So you can reach out to connect@samiakhtar.com, or you can just, if by any chance you miss writing this email down, you can message or you can comment in the video itself. Okay, someone from my team will reach out to you. So any last tips that you want to share? We'll start with Meghla, then we'll go to Mark. Any last tip for sellers who want to scale globally?
Well, I think the biggest thing that we have learned, working with sellers now I've been working with sellers for over 6-7 years now. Since late 2015, I started working with sellers, global sellers, and all of these e-commerce experts. And the one thing that I've realized is super, super important is in this business is ABL. Always be learning. That is really, really important because things just change so much, so often that it's really hard to keep track. The strategies that were working 1 year ago are not working anymore today. So there's constant change happening. So you have to always be learning. And, that's one of the reasons why we are hosting this conference, to bring all of the learning to India sellers. So yeah, we hope to see you at the conference.
Okay, Mark, this is your turn.
Yeah, I would say know your numbers. Whatever you do, don't just go into this blindly and think you can make money. You've got to know all your costs before you start ordering products and deciding to go ahead with this to make sure it's viable. And once again, it is a moving target. You can't think, oh, that's my price now and it'll be right forever, because your PPC might change. Amazon costs might go up. Shipping costs might change. So it's a constant. You've got to keep checking. Is your margin still there? Do you need to maybe slightly increase your product? Is it becoming unviable now? Because, maybe you've got some competition that's selling a lot, undercutting you or something. And that's not so much going to happen to you if you're sourcing from India, though. If you're still sourcing from China, you'll have a lot of competition. But if you're sourcing from India, hopefully the competition won't be as bad. So, because you're going to have that unique selling sort of proposition with your product compared to a Chinese mass manufactured product. So that does give you a little bit of help there that, you're not going to have that problem, but it still needs to be checked and you've got to keep your eye on it. So know your numbers is my big thing. Making profit. That's what I want to do. I don't want to do this and make nothing.
Yeah, totally agree on that. Well, thank you so much for this awesome tips. I think you have shared a lot of tips from product research, keywords, shipping, then margins, sourcing. I mean, we got a lot, but still, the Ecom India Summit, it is going to be happening from 10th and 11th. It is going to be super excited, full of value. So I'm really excited to see you both there.
Be
And
there.
I think, okay. So that's it, guys. We will see you again on next videos, and we are hopeful that you come to the Ecom India Summit. I have attached the website in the description as well. You can check out. You can book your ticket and see us there. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Sammy.
Thanks, Sammy.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Take care.